What is the first step to getting a positive mental attitude and becoming successful? Hey, Jason Cheney here, and if you've been following along, I'm going through the success puzzle of Bob Proctor, and this is part of the self-study coaching program. And I want to talk more about attitude because if you remember the definition of success, success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea, and you're never going to get to it if you don't fix your attitude. And if you don't remember the definition of attitude, attitude is the composite of our thoughts, feelings, and actions, which leads to our results. And so the reason why I wanted to talk about this because it's very important because what is the actual first step to changing your attitude? Most people probably heard the saying, hey, you need to fix your attitude. But how do you fix your attitude? And so as I was doing my reading through The Greatest Salesman Part 2, and then I was doing my writing passages for in one of the books that I'm writing, it dawned on me, the first step to change your attitude is changing your thoughts. You must take control of your thoughts. And what I mean by that is you must become a person who responds instead of react to circumstances. And one of the examples I gave in the book while I was writing today, I said, I put in there, imagine you're just coming home, you're driving on the highway, and it's already a rough day at work, you're just relaxed, listening to some music, driving the speed limit, not in a rush. And then somebody just come driving like a bat out of hell, and they're just going in and out of traffic, and they cut you off, almost hit you. How are you gonna respond to that? Are you gonna respond? I can be honest with you, if it would have happened to me a couple of years ago, I would have been reacting, meaning I would have been cursing, I would have been livid, I would have been probably chasing them down depending on what point of the time in my life it was. Instead, you can respond to things that are out of your control. You have no control over somebody driving like a fool on the highway. However, you can change the perception of it by thinking a different thought about that person. And this is how simple it is. You have to take control of your conscious mind. And we all know, conscious mind, subconscious mind. However, do you understand what it really means? Like, the reason why I keep defining things and I keep going into details, trying to make things simple, is because I'm noticing a lot of us, and me included, I've been using words my entire adult life, and I had no understanding of what those words meant. And, I was wondering all those years, why wasn't I able to get the things that I wanted? Like, why am I not being as successful? Why is my momentum isn't moving as fast as I believe it should? And this is why I was not understanding words, and I wasn't understanding what these words really meant for my life, like success. I did not know what that word meant 3 years ago. So, think about that. I was 37 3 years ago, 37 years. I left the home at 18. So what's that, 19 years? I thought I was being a successful person, and I was not progressively moving towards nothing until I became 600 plus pounds, and I was literally afraid to die. So I was like, hey, I got to be a better husband. I got to be a healthier husband. Then I became successful. And so to change your attitude, you have to look at your conscious mind. And let me just read to you what it says about the conscious mind here in the actual book. It said, the conscious mind is the part of you that thinks, reasons. Your free will lies here. Now, what is free will? Free will is the ability to create a thought that you want to create. Meaning, no matter what is going on around you, you have the ability to think what you want to think. It doesn't matter what other people say, what you see people doing, or what you're hearing around you. And this is very, very important. And it also says, this is the part of your mind that will decide the changes required to live the type of life you want to experience. If you are someone who's been struggling with weight, you have to really ask yourself, are you having healthy thoughts? Are you having skinnier thoughts? Are you having a different image of you? Are you creating these thoughts? Because if not, that means in your conscious mind, you're ambivalent, meaning there's two different emotions. There's the emotion of, I want to be able to get to this size, and there's the emotion of, I don't really want to do it. I'm not willing to sacrifice. Now, that other emotion that doesn't want to do it, that's part of your paradigm, meaning it was programmed by your parents or whoever raised you. It doesn't mean that it's the right programming. It's honestly not the right program. All of us have wrong programming inside of us. And I know people want to be like, well, Jason, you're not a parent. You don't understand, blah, blah, blah. This isn't about parenting. This isn't about beating you up. This isn't about saying you're doing wrong. No one who has had kids, in my opinion, just out of the blue, they just wanted to hurt those kids. They just wanted to make sure they wasn't going to be successful. No one wanted to do that. I remember growing up as a kid, my mom used to always say, oh, you're going to be a rich kid. You're going to be a rich kid. I took that a certain way when she was doing the best that she could do, giving me that positive affirmation like, hey, man, you can have what I can't have. I understand that now because I'm switching my mind even more from reacting to people to what I am responding. I'm analyzing the situation. I'm looking back. Sometimes, if you saw me here in the house sometimes, there's times when I'm solving problems and doing things, I'm moving all around the house, just looking at different areas, walking in place, just thinking. Because I'm looking at a different area, a different picture, and I'm creating a different thought. And this is just one of the ways that I am taking more control of my conscious mind. I'm not going to say like, oh, Jason's the best. Like I have all of this practice and all of this. This is something I'm still working on. There are areas of my life where I want to reprogram things, and there's areas in my life where I do not care to reprogram things. So really focus on what are the areas of your life that you want to change, and then you need to start changing your attitude towards that. And I'm going to give you one of the best ways to start creating those new thoughts and changing the attitude. So I'm going to give you the example of health. If everybody know, health is my thing. I love studying health. I read a lot of books about it. I think about it. When I'm looking at different plants, roots, and stuff like this, I'm trying to break it down at a molecular level, at a cellular level, understand, okay, what does this do? What does this do? How does this react to the body? Other things like you don't see 99% of the stuff I do. Most people don't, because I do a lot of experiments on myself. Because the only way that I can be healthy is by, making the changes that are required to live that type of life. I do a lot of ancient. It's called ancient healthcare, but it's a lot of Eastern Chinese practices, alternative practices, where they do cupping. I do like Tuesday, I'm going to do a herbal soak, where it's going to detoxify a lot of my lymph nodes and stuff like that out of my feet. I do that. I do hot stone therapy. I do massage therapy, where they go through your lymphs and just do a full body. And this is a lot of stuff that I do. And most people will be like, oh, that's crazy. That doesn't have nothing to do. That can't help you. You need to go to a doctor. You need to take a pill. That's not medicine. We got to get past doing things just because the TV told us to do it, or because someone went and spent a lot of money on a college degree and they have some initials in front of their name. That does not mean they know what they're talking about. We have to get away from this assembly line mentality that we've been programmed with. And it's time for us to get back to free thinking, free will, and start making decisions and changes in our life. And so if you want to start making a health change in your life, here's a very simple way to do it. Start watching one documentary about health. It needs to be the complete opposite of anything you have ever done. Thomas Troy, one of the things he talks about in the, I can't remember the name of the books, but one of the things he talks about is like you're a divine center. And by you being a divine center, only new experiences can come in your life. However, looking at that and been analyzing it, and I'm gonna spend a day on it, analyzing it one day with you, the paragraph. Looking at it, the only way for us to have new experiences in our life is for us to start taking control of our conscious mind and controlling our thoughts. So most of us are not having new experiences, which is gonna expand us past, because we're thinking the same old thoughts, which is keeping us in the same old attitude, which is now keeping us in the same vibration, and there's no change. And so if you want to really start getting your health under control, this is the documentary I recommend, What the Health. It should still be on Netflix. If it's not, I know you can find it on YouTube, or if you just do a simple Google search, you'll be able to find it on some of the streaming sites. And watch it. But don't just watch it one time and then never watch it again. Commit to watching it at least once a week. When I first started doing it, I was watching it 3 or 4 times a day. I was in a lot more dire need. Hey, hopefully you're not in the situation that I was in. For me at that time, everything was life or death. And that's exactly how I was looking at everything. I was like, either I can watch this documentary and learn something else that can help me live for 1 second longer, or I can continue doing the crap that I'm doing. Watching junk, watching reality TV, watching the housewives. And that's how I changed my life. That's how I changed my health. I was watching this documentary 3 to 4 times a day, every day. That's how I started. Then I went to reading books. I had, it was like the health Bible. It was from like the 19, I think it was from 1915 or 1919. I had found it at a half price books in Arlington, I think, before we had left the U.S. And it was just huge. It had all the different plants, had them broken down by the continent, region, and I was studying that. And as I was studying, I increased my awareness about how to be healthy. But most importantly, I started having healthy thoughts, meaning I wasn't thinking about eating junk food all day. I wasn't thinking about depressive thoughts. I just want to sit here and just be alone. I was like, oh man, I need to get up, get around, move out. I started eating healthy. I started eating more fruits, more vegetables. And look at me now. I'm living in South Africa, literally a country. Let me see, what year is this? 2022. So I say about 6 years ago, I literally could not be in this country, even to visit, because I was on a CPAP machine. And if you're familiar with South Africa, they have a horrible electricity grid here. The electricity just goes out. You just never know, and power plants blow up normally here. And but the funny thing about that is, like, I couldn't be in this country 6-7 years ago, because literally I would not be able to breathe at night going to sleep. I would have to be terrified, but like, okay, how am I going to know that the electricity not go out? And that all came from just watching a documentary. So, like, really ask yourself, if you're not even willing to give up an hour or 2 hours of your time to learn something that's going to better your health, how in the hell is it ever going to change? And once you answer that question honestly, you will start getting the results in your life. I can guarantee you that. Because until I was honest about myself, that if it ain't nothing I'm going to change, how in the hell do I expect anything about me to change? I started realizing I'm willing to change any and everything about me to become the person that I want to be. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care what people think I should do. Like, even now, like, people here are like, oh, stop losing weight, you're good. Stop losing weight, you're going to be too skinny. I do not care what other people think or what they feel is right. I am concerned with my life. I know what is healthy for me, and I don't take advice from people who are not healthy. And I can guarantee you there's not very many people in this world, on this planet, that spends as much time as I do focused on health, how to become healthier, how to be healthier, and how to do healthier things. And so if you want to start getting a healthier attitude towards weight loss, which I prefer calling it weight release, because we've been programmed to automatically, whenever we lose something, we're supposed to go find it. And this is why diets do not work, and diets work hand in hand with that programming. Really think about it. You go on a diet, you lose a little bit of weight for a while, you may get to that summer body, then you don't diet anymore. You go back to your normal eating patterns, which you're not aware of, and then you put weight back on. It's never going to work. You're never going to get lifelong solutions until you change your actual eating habits and stop dieting. And so really watch this video over again, because there's a lot of details in here, especially on attitude. Like, we have to start understanding our thoughts are the most important thing that we have. And most of us are not aware that we're having some of the most harmful thoughts to our lives. How many of us are thinking poverty all the time? How many of us thinking like, oh, I can't do it, I can't afford it, this will never happen, I don't have the opportunities. And like I tell people, we have to really look at the world that we live in today. Most of us are walking around with supercomputers and in our hand, and we're at the same time complaining and bitching about how there's no opportunities. Oh, there's no way to make money. Oh, there's not a way to eat healthy. Oh, there's no information out here. So far, every country I've been to, people are not using the resources to their advantages. Countless people, they can sit and tell me about Facebook, some stupid story, some stupid video, send me all these things. But then when I asked them, like, hey, do you look at any of the Facebook marketing classes on there? Like, most people think Facebook is a social media site. It is a business site. There's nothing social media about it. If you go to any of their conferences, if you do any of their seminars, any of their Zoom calls, you will know Facebook does not care about social use. They want business owners on there. They want people using businesses on there. Like even you have sites like Patreon, you have OnlyFans, which OnlyFans, if you listen to the podcast yesterday, that does not mean it has to be porn. Like there's all these opportunities to make money. Like I said on the podcast, if there was someone who just did plant-based cooking and they had an OnlyFans where they were just cooking different plant-based meals, like showing a plant-based lemon meringue pie, things that I like, I would subscribe to it. Things do not have to be what you think they are, what people say they are. You can make something for whatever you want it to be. And this is how you create your reality. This is how you create your life. And it's by taking control of your conscious mind, taking control of your thoughts, and then start moving into controlling your feelings and controlling your actions, which then is going to start automatically getting you one step closer to your goals, which makes you successful. Progressive realization of a worthy idea. And so that's all you have to do. If you're someone and you're really looking for a way to start getting some weight off, weight reduction, whatever you want to call it, watch the documentary, What the Health. It's on Netflix. If you can't find it on there, you don't have Netflix, just go to YouTube, go to Google. Don't just sit here and say, oh, I don't have it, I can't get it. There's ways to get it. You don't have to pay for it. And just watch it. And I recommend watching it at least once a week, if not daily. And let me know how it is in the comments below. After you watched it, let me know what your biggest aha moment of that documentary is. And let's talk about it later on. Have a great day and see you tomorrow.